says she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you lusting is the one you're loving?
Richmond, north of Richmond, Oliver Anthony. Why did I play that song coming back?
Good question. I mean,
okay, good. Because when we have these conversations, and I'm having a similar wrestling in spaces that I've created, including this one. Roughly 30% of my listeners have not a lot of melanin, and that is absolutely fine with me. I don't want to live in a world where there's only one type of people. If I'm being honest, homogeny is not the goal. Humanity is the goal. Humanity is the goal, not homogeny, right? So if you want to I'm building the world that I want to live in, and that world includes all hands on deck, all kinds of people, all walks of life, coming from different things. Why? Because as a human being, the human experience needs other people to bang up against to learn more about yourself. I can't learn more about myself in a bubble of homogeny. And all of the so-called white people who leave neighborhoods because these people are moving in, and all of a sudden they're scared because their children are going to be infected by the very thing that infects them, which is this depravity of the music industry and these images that you can't protect them from, and they end up marrying Patrick Mahomes anyway. It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen anyway. You can't shield your children from this. Matter of fact, you should be running headlong. You're banning books for what reason? You're making them more curious to want to know what you're hiding from them. And you know what they find when they come over to the dark side? Deliciousness and culture and spices and all kinds of goodness. And it makes them question everything. But anyway, I played the song because we have this image of Oliver Anthony as somebody who is a good old boy. He's been selling his soul, working all day, overtime hours for BS pay. Mm-hmm. He can sit here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. And white folk have used this as an anthem, like they did that small town BS that they effed around and found out about in a small town when it got flipped on them. But he came out and said some things. So I played it in honor of the fact that you can't judge all books by its cover just because a man has white skin with that Southern twang, using that African banjo and guitar to sing those blues that came out of the cotton fields. As he's doing that, he had a message. So let's play that because he responded to it. Clip 3.
If there is anything for me to address at all with you, it's that it's the one thing that has bothered me is seeing people wrap politics up in this. I'm disappointed to see, like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them. It's aggravating seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies and act like we're fighting the same struggle here, like that we're trying to present the same message. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I tried to be polite to everybody. And I've talked to hundreds of people the last 2 weeks. It seems like certain people want to just ride the attention of the song to maybe make them their own selves relevant, and that's aggravating as hell. The other thing that I find aggravating is, like, it was funny seeing my song it was funny seeing it at the presidential debate. Because it's like, I wrote that song about those people, so for them to have to sit there and listen to that cracks me up. But it was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, it's a lot bigger than Joe Biden. That song is written about the people on that stage, and a lot more too, not just them, but definitely them.
Yes. All right, we could end it there. Oliver Anthony. This is again, we could paint ourselves in corners, going after all white people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
this man.
He's a perfect example. You were articulating that this is someone who understands, why should I be encouraged to buy into whiteness if I don't have healthcare, if I don't have teeth if I don't, right? Like that is what he is articulating there. This is what I want to ask you. I love this. We should want humanity. Humanity is the goal, not homogeny. So, I'm totally about that. My whole career has been about making other people want to work toward humanity, whether they have privilege or not. How do I get you to buy in to where you're working toward humanity? So part of what you brought up at the opening of the show was King's articulation of coming to cash a check. And you were like, how can we cash a check if we were never considered part of the thing? So I guess part of what I'm interested in is how do we continue to be clear about the fact that we want everybody in this fight for humanity? That means that we can't say, well, I don't care what they're doing. What is our accountability to us? Like, we can't only do that. We have to do both, and we have to be dynamic. So I just wanted to bring that out, this cashing the check, and how we can't expect to cash a check when we were never considered part of American citizenship. I understand that, but I want to kind of wrestle with you around that concept, given that we have examples like Oliver Anthony, who understands that it's a humanity issue, and we've got to be clear about what the politics are in order to address the humanity. Because this is the other thing I'll say. What we end up really messed up with as Americans, all Americans, is the way that dominant discourse, dominant conversation, what is most commonly said and done, encourages us to think about politics as a very narrow thing. I need us to understand that politics is who gets what. Politics is the distribution of resources. That's the better way to say it. Politics is the distribution of resources. So there is nothing that isn't politics, whether I am talking about who gets water and clean water and who doesn't, and who gets to determine who gets clean water and who doesn't, whether we're talking about the resource, the very real resource, Karen, of the benefit of the doubt. We can look around ourselves and we can see how the benefit of the doubt is a resource that some people get in spades and some people don't. So I need us to understand that politics is always the distribution of resources. It isn't just when a politician shows up. So when we had the Ron DeSantis thing and he showed up and then she said, oh, this isn't about politics, that's to misunderstand politics.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna need people to, just because a mic is in front of you, that you don't have to speak. Even if you are holding public office, I'm gonna need you to really, everyone, to have a come to Jesus moment with yourself. And if you aren't equipped with the breadth of knowledge to open your mouth to represent all of us, please be quiet, because you do nothing but allow for sound bites now, talking points, to predominate with this very complicated moment of in time that we've had for the last 400 years. This is the complicated moment. This is a complicated period. King writes, and where do we come from here? Where do we go from here? Community or chaos? He says it lies in the congenital deformity of racism that has crippled the nation from its inception. He calls it it is a defect of birth of this nation. And we have to treat it like that, right? Mm-hmm. Oliver Anthony probably doesn't have the breadth of knowledge to not say that it's politics, because it's all politics. To your point, I think you're absolutely right. But what he's saying, I think, is even deeper, is what Fred Hampton was saying, which got him killed at 21, right? What he was saying is that it's the system that is oppressing all of us. It's capitalism, right? It is egalitarianism. It is all of this. It is pitting us against each other so that the 1% can have boats and yachts and bunkers that cost $2 million, because when they blow everything up, they're going to be the only ones safe. They can freeze their heads for science and do all of the things, right? While we fight over crumbs, instead of all of us looking at each other. Do you have an egg? All right, I got some flour. You got some milk? You got okay, well, we can make something together. You got an egg? I got some flour. Oh, sis, you got some shit? Okay. You got milk? Okay, let's come together. Individually, no. Collectively, and it's all of us. It's you Germans, and this is what when Fred Hampton made the Rainbow Coalition, that was his thing, part of the Black Panther movement of feeding and educating. That was the foundation, right? You were not going to go hungry in a Black Panther neighborhood. Your child was not going to go without learning, and the parents attached in a Black Panther neighborhood. And guess what? We even looking at our brothers and sisters who don't have melanin, who are equally as poor. And when King talked about jobs for all, they were fine with him talking about black this and we'll give you desegregation. We just gonna take our kids out and our whole families out of the neighborhoods anyway. We ain't got to sit next to you anyway. We ain't even the ones taking the bus. Yeah. We can move our whole community into another community and put gates around it and cul-de-sacs and call it Wisteria Lane and have our children go to 99% white schools. We don't got to sit our children next to you. Here's your you can have your integration. Please take it. Oh, wait a minute. You letting the Appalachian no teeth having motherfreakers know that they're in the same. Wait a minute. This is how we had to separate y'all during enslavement with the indentured folk from Ireland. Hold up. You gotta die. Now you gotta die.
I run my fingers through her hair as she smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you're lusting